machine learnings. Fuzzy SVMs are there, fuzzy neural networks are there, fuzzy-based evolutionary computations are there. So a lot of such types of things are there. Fuzzy-based neural network, fuzzy-based machine learning algorithms, everything are there. So we want to understand how we will be able to represent uncertainty, vagueness, and ambiguity in a very different way. There are other things. I have already told that there are a lot of things equivalent to fuzzy logic. Rough set is available, probability theory is available. All these things help you to have something called representative capability. But here we will be talking about something called fuzzy logic. The person who is standing here, right? So this person is none other than the Professor Sade. He is father of fuzzy logic. So long back when I went to Hong Kong, I was having a meeting with Sade. At that time, I took a photo along with him. He is the father of fuzzy logic, and now he is no more, right? He has developed fuzzy logic in 1965, if I am correct, in 1965. And at that particular time, when he tried to publish the theory on a journal, statisticians, probability people, and those who are professors in mathematics trying to object him. And this is fuzzy logic is not going to work. It is a foolishness. And they told that it is nothing but probability theory, like the people started to argue. But he developed an entire theory for that, and he tried to prove that, and this fuzzy logic is going to work. Right? So a lot of contradictions happen because any novel research people try to contradict initially, and later it will develop. The neural network also earlier when they developed, people were feeling very difficult to simulate it because memory was very less. Now memory is more, so that it started evolving like anything. And we have convolution neural network, other deep neural networks like that. Similarly, when the time when fuzzy logic was developed by Sade, Professor Sade, people started objecting it. Then he tried to prove it by several ways. Right? The first proof was the biggest industrial application that happened in Japan in 1985. After 20 years, small application came, but people never tried to understand that when a biggest application like Sindei railway subsystem in Japan came, which entirely worked on fuzzy logic without driverless railway subsystem, people started to understand the real importance of fuzzy logic and its applications. It's a very, very beautiful thing. After 20 years, 65 to 85, you can understand that. After 20 number of years, they have a biggest industrial application, then all people started understanding it is going to work. In 2000, in the year 2000, the fuzzy logic has become an industrial standard. There are a lot of applications. You can see application even in rice cooker, right? You have several type of rice cooker. Even in camera, you can have fuzzy logic zooms. If you are trying to capture a object which is very far away and you try to zoom, right? So manual zooming will be very difficult, and you have something called fuzzy basis zooming, which will exactly zoom and do the thing, automatic zooming. Right, you have also automatic fuzzy logic based washing machines and several applications you can see. In Google search, you can find it out. And before going to a small example in MATLAB, we need to distinguish between what is fuzzy set and classical set. That will help you to understand more about fuzzy set in a very efficient way, right? So for that, we try to understand that we try to define young age, right? So in classical logic, we have a characteristic function which takes a value either 0 or 1, true or false, or young or not young, right? We will have a set, and this mu characteristic function will be an element of this set. Either this characteristic function will get a value 0 or 1, right? Once you plot that, you can see that when we have an age of 20, we say that when a person is less than or equal to 20 years, he belongs to the young group. And when he becomes more than 20 years, he will become not young. He does not belong to the young group. So here we can see a sharp jump from 1 to 0. So up to less than 20 years, you have a 1. After, when he becomes more than 20 years, it suddenly jumps to 0. Right? So normally in programming language, what you do, you say that if you have a conditional statement which will say that if x is less than or equal to 20, and you will print that he is young, otherwise not young. And this statement will say that it is a sharp jump. For example, a student is having 39 marks. If your pass mark is 40, you will say that he is failed. Even though he may be good in some other subjects, you are not understanding the student in a fuzzy way, and you will say that he is failed. But you should not do that in real life applications. You should say that he has passed with a small membership grade, something like that you want to say. That the Professor Sade has tried to achieve that, tried to say that, how you will be able to say that. So he tried to bring a membership function rather than characteristic function. He tried to bring something called a membership function, which will provide a value in the interval 0 to 1, cross interval 0 to 1. So here you will have a membership function which gives a value in the grade in the closed degree called as 0 to 1. So what here you have is that you have a membership function where you have something called a inclined boundary. In that inclined boundary, you can see that here is 20, right? When a student comes with 23 years of age, automatically it will calculate the membership grade, and it will tell that a student with 23 years of age belongs to the young group with a membership grade 0.8. This is how it interprets. So earlier example, when we say about marks, if we say that a student with 39 marks comes, we will say that the student is passed rather than telling failed, and say that he has passed with a membership grade of 0.9 or something like that. So this is the difference between here. We will never have a jump, right? We will never have a jump like this. We have something called an inclined boundary, which talks about a membership grade rather than sudden jump. This enables us to handle several things, even uncertainty, ambiguity, vagueness, everything you are able to handle using this inclined boundary. That is what he tries to prove it. Right? So entire fuzzy systems or fuzzy inference system, fuzzy control system, if you see that, you'll have 4 different parts. One called the fussifier, another called the defussifier, then you have something called rule base, then you have something called fuzzy inference engine. In the fussifier, what you do is, whatever you are having as numerical value that comes from certain things, it will be converted into fuzzy value, right? If you have some value, it will convert in very high, low, or high speed, low speed, high mark, medium mark, below average mark, something like that, right? So everything will be converted into some fuzzy linguistic value. And based on that, in the inference engine, you have set of rules. That rules will also will be like that. If he is having a average mark greater than 80% in all the subjects, and if he fails in, if he have marks less than in one particular subject, right, then he has to be considered as a brilliant student or something like that. Even if he fails in one subject, whether he can be considered brilliant or not. So such type of rules where no values comes into picture. Everywhere you have something called a linguistic value. So all the rules will be linguistic rules, fuzzy rules, and all the fuzzy rules will decide what should be the output. And the details about the fuzzy things will be in place in the rule base. And finally, when the decision is made, the decision will also be a fuzzy. For example, you are driving a driverless car. It will provide a decision that you have to apply a sudden brake. How much voltage you have to given to a motor that will provide a brake, that will not specify. The entire inference engine will specify that you have to apply a sudden brake, medium brake, or something like that. And when you try to defussify it, you will get a voltage. For example, if it is a sudden brake, it will get a high voltage. That a high voltage will go to a motor, and that motor will press something so that you will have a sudden brake on the car. That is how it works. So we will see an example here. Before going to the practical section, you have a plant. This plant can be a nuclear reactor. This plant can be something called a driverless car, driverless vehicle. It can be something else. We will take an example of a nuclear reactor. In nuclear reactor, several collisions happens. So the collisions will be higher certain times. There will be some sensors which will measure it, number of collisions. Those measurements in terms of numericals value you will have here. So those numerical value want to fussify, whether it is high number of collisions, low number of collisions, medium number of collisions, very number of high number of collisions, something like that. You do those values convert to something called fussification. This horizontal line, below the horizontal line, you have something called numerical world. When you do the fussification, you automatically have all the numerical value into something called fuzzy values. High, low, medium, something like that. Right? Very high, very low, right? Something like that. So you will get something, rather than numerical values, you have something called linguistic labels, fuzzy linguistic labels. And based on these linguistic labels, the entire region below this horizontal line we called as fuzzy world. Right? Everywhere here we will do in terms of fuzzy values, not numerical values. So all the rules that you are having the fuzzy inference will also be fuzzy rules, where you have fuzzy labels rather than numerical values. When we have a result, that result again will be in terms of something called fuzzy label. That fuzzy label you have to defussify it. For example, test says that you have to have something called a high voltage to the motor, right? So that high voltage you defussify it. When it comes down towards a numerical world, it will fussify and give a voltage. That voltage will be going to a motor, and that motor will press a particular portion, and so that a big lead rod will go inside the nuclear reactor. When you have more quantity of lead rod inside a nuclear reactor, it will absorb the collisions. So the number of collisions will come down. So this is how it will work for any fuzzy inference system, right? I will give one more example that will help you to assign. Then we will go to the one example in MATLAB. This is one of the rule that I am talking about, right? This is one of the rule with 2 input variables and 1 output variable. So you can see that this is one of the label that we talk about. For the variable X, we'll take one particular label for this rule, and for the variable Y, this rule takes this particular label, right? And for the current value of X, this is the position of the current value of X, this membership will fire a membership grade. And for the current value of Y, this membership function will provide a grade. These two things we will have a minimum. This is something called max-min inference, right? You will take a minimum. You can have a product, you can have average, whatever you want. So the different inference mechanisms are available. And then it will come here, and here you will have something called max inference. You can have a product with the output variable or something like that. Here we have a min that will provide you something called an area for the output variable. This output variable, for this particular rule, you are having this label here, right? Similarly, you can see the second rule. Second rule, where the second rule is having the labels for X. The labels for X is at a different location, and the type of the label is different. Here you can have a triangular label. In the previous example, you are having a trapezoidal label. The position is also different. For the same X value, right? The position of the X value is same. For the same X value, this rule, in this rule, this membership function provides a different membership grade. And for the Y, in the second rule, you are having a different label, right? And for the current value of Y, same Y value, right? This particular membership function gives a different grade. You again take a min, and you take the inference, and there what you get, a particular output. It is something like 2 judges giving 2 judgments, right? So 3 judges are sitting, several people are playing on the stage. One judge will say this person should get a first rank. The second judge will say, no, this person should get a first rank. Like that, different rules will have a different judgment, and these judgment again are fuzzy, right? So again, we have to consolidate together to make a common judgment, and this common judgment cannot be directly applied to any plant. So we want to digitize it. We want to make it numerical value, right? For that, we have something called a defussification. The defussification will get a numerical value. This is something called Mamdani type of rules. You are having Takagi Sugino types of rules. Several types of fuzzy rules are there. I am not deeply going inside that because of the time constraint. I will directly go to an example in MATLAB, right? Then we will again come back. Then we will have something called questions. So we will take something called fuzzy. We just type fuzzy in MATLAB. The font will be very less. I don't know how to zoom these things here. but you have a bigger screen to see this so that you will understand. So here there is something called input, there is something called output, and there is something called the type of rule that you are going to choose. So you can increase the input. So you can have Mamdani type of rules or Sugino type of rule you can define here, right? Then you can have something called add variable. This add variable will help you to increase the number of input values, input variables. So you say add variable, right? You just click input variable. So now you can see two input variables. This input variable you can rename it and say that is x1, and the second input variable you can label it as, you can say this is the input value x2, right? For example, the first one, if you want to say as fever, right, or temperature, right, a fever, and the second one you can say in terms of something called cold, right? So two variables, one variable temperature, another variable cold, and the third variable you are the output variable that you are having something called paracetamol. So you can name the label like that. And if you take the first variable itself, for example, temperature, you can double click it. You can define the number of membership function that you want. So you can define what the values it should take, right? For example, in the x-axis it is showing 0 to 1. You can say that the temperature will start from 99°F to 104 Fahrenheit. If you type it here, automatically the x-axis value will change like 99 to 104. And the number of membership functions also you can delete and increase it. For example, I want to delete this. I don't want this. I want to have different types of membership function. There is something called add MF. You try to click it add MF. There you get different types of membership functions. Triangular, Gaussian. Suppose I want Gaussian membership functions. How many Gaussian membership functions I want? I say 5 Gaussian membership function. I say 5 Gaussian membership function. I click 5. And then I click OK. You can see that 5 Gaussian membership, sorry. 5 Gaussian membership function comes. I can name it. For example, this one, first membership function, I can say that low temperature, right? Or very low temperature. And this can the second membership function and can label it as low temperature. And this I can this third membership function I can label it as medium temperature M. And the fourth membership function and label it as high temperature H. And the fifth one I can label it as very high temperature. So different membership labels you can name it. So these membership function will span over certain regions, overlapping regions. Similarly, cold also you can have, depending upon your need, you can have different membership functions. Suppose I want only 2 membership functions, low cold and high cold, right? So I am going to add 2 triangular membership functions of 2, okay, right? So if you take this one, you can see this is first membership function. This is low cold, and this is the second one called very high cold, at the value between 0 and 1. And the paracetamol, suppose I am going to have something called 0 paracetamol to something like 650 gram paracetamol. So I can put a value here 0 to 650, and I can name the label here. Suppose I want to have first thing as low paracetamol labeling. Second membership, I can increase the membership function also, type of membership function also you can change. Medium paracetamol and high paracetamol, right? Some variables you can define it here. Now you can create rules. Now we are having a temperature as an input variable, cold as an input variable, paracetamol as an output variable. Each of the input variable you have divided into certain regions. Each of the regions will have a membership function. You can have any type of membership function. The position of the membership function also you can change it. The type of the membership function you can change it. Any changes you can make it. For example, this particular membership function you want to reduce the horizontal, see this you can reduce like this, right? So anything you can do it. The position, suppose I want to just shift the position. So you can do any type of modification that you want, right? Now we are going to create a rule. So you go to rules. So once this window comes, Inside this window, you have the input variable here. If temperature is, and cold is, and then paracetamol is. So you select if temperature is very low, and if the cold is low cold, your paracetamol should be low paracetamol. You add the rule. Once you add the rule, you can see on the top if temperature is very low, numerical value is coming here. You can see here. If temperature is very low, cold is low cold, then paracetamol is low. You add another rule. If temperature is low and the cold is or temperature is something like medium and the cold is low, you can have something called medium paracetamol. You add the rule. And one more rule I am going to add: if temperature is very high, if the cold is very low, you are going to tell that you have medium paracetamol, adding a rule, another rule. If you have temperature is very high and you have cold as very high, you take very high paracetamol, you add rule. So any number of rules. So the rules depend upon the number of variables that you are having. For example, temperature 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 membership functions you are having. Cold, you are having 2 membership functions. So 5 into 2, 10 rules you can create actually. If you add the none components also here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. So you can have something called 6 into 3, 18 rules you can create. Currently I am creating only 4 rules. Now we will see how the rules look like, right? So I am going to see the rules, membership functions, view rules, right? If you see the rules, you can interestingly see that this fuzzy inference system tries to produce a rule like this, right? When the current temperature I am increasing it to say 103 degree Fahrenheit, and the cold I am trying to decrease it to something like 0.186, right? And then it automatically displays the paracetamol 293 grams. If the temperature becomes something like 104 degree Fahrenheit and the cold also becoming very high, you can see the paracetamol is 562 gram. And you can have something called, this is the beauty of this. So once you build that, if you save it, the file itself will be saved like .fis. That model, you can use it for further prediction. When a new person comes with a particular temperature, you take that particular temperature and cold, and you pass it to it, automatically it will predict how much grams of paracetamol it will want. So you can have a view of the surface also, how much smooth or how much good the surface is, right? Here horizontally you can see cold, and another this side you can have depth, temperature, and vertically you can see paracetamol. So this is how, based on the different cold and temperature, you can have a paracetamol. You can rotate this function and see that each for each temperature and each type of cold, how much paracetamol you want to eat. So this is a small example to show visually that how you can use GUI for creating a fuzzy inference system. Normally in research purpose, we will never use GUI. All these things you can call using functions, and you can here, if you want to optimize a fuzzy inference system, the position of the membership function, the number of membership functions, and the type of membership functions, the number of rules that you want, the type of rules you want, Mamdani type or Takagi-Suginov rules, all these things will form the design parameters. These design parameters you can train either using neural network, neurofuzzy system, and fuzzy neurosystem you might have heard, and something like that. You can use nature inspired algorithm for also learning the fuzzy parameters. So with these few things, I hope that I will be able to stop this what is called as fuzzy part also. Before that, let us see that earlier I was trying to display that boxcar, right, whether it has come or not. So with these few things, I would like to stop. Before stopping, I would like to show you some of the real intelligence system that is needed in real life, right? For example, if you see something called a robot, right, that is trying to play. right? A small demo I have shown, that is just to show that there are a lot of complexities when you design robot or real life application where we need computation intelligence. Then only it will work efficiently. Otherwise, a lot of errors will come. And one more example I will show you that will help you to further understand about playing a game, right? It is trying to take that ball, but the entire door is being closed, right? It's a balloon game and all these things. So these are the few things that I want to say. Even certain times it will fail it, right? It's trying to put sauce. Right, lot of failures you are able to see, right? So those things are there, and so these are the few things that I would like to talk to you. So I have covered artificial neural network, evolutionary computation, and fuzzy logic in a quicker way the last 3 hours. And once again, I thank all the organizers and all the participants who are patiently listening on this particular FTP. I thank once again to all of you.